We're going to make a beautiful apple cake today, and this cake reminds me of my niece Bronte. Actually, she taught me this recipe a very long time ago. It was actually a chocolate cake at the time and a vegan chocolate cake, but we've adapted it for apples, and autumn's a beautiful time to be using apples. So we're going to make this lovely apple and olive oil cake today. So we're going to start by putting the dry ingredients in a bowl. This is a one mix mixture where we're going to put everything in the one bowl and use a wooden spoon to mix it all together and pop it in the oven. So a really simple, wholesome recipe. So we'll start with 2 cups of self-raising flour, a cup of raw sugar. You could also use caster sugar if you want. We'll put a beautiful pinch of salt in here to enhance the flavors. And I like to put a tablespoon of cinnamon, but if you have access to a beautiful apple pie spice, and I like to get these from a shop here in Melbourne called Gerwitz. I love to use the apple pie spice. Otherwise, cinnamon is fine. So a tablespoon of cinnamon. And then we're going to mix that together. And there's no eggs in this dish. And there's no milk because it's vegan, but you could substitute if you wanted to add some eggs or a little bit of milk, but we'll keep it vegan today. So we're going to put 3/4 of a cup of really good olive oil, and we'll also put a cup of water. We're going to slowly mix this together just until it's combined. And then we're going to add the beautiful apples. So the apples I like to use are Granny Smith apples, and they've got a bit of a tartness to them. And when you cook them, they maintain their shape really well. So we're going to be using about 400 grams of cut apples here. And what I've done is I've pre-cooked them until they're half cooked. So they're not fully cooked, and we're going to put that into the mixture as well. And what you'll find with the combination of olive oil and apples, it'll be an extremely moist cake, which will last for many, many days. So we're just going to mix that really well together, and just until it comes together. You don't need to over mix this mixture. It smells amazing. So now that it's come together, we will place it in a 20 to 25 centimeter tin. The smaller the tin, the higher the cake will rise. I like to use a little bit bigger. And we're just going to place it in a tin. I've greased it and lined it with some parchment paper. And we're just going to place it in here. And we'll smooth the top over. And then I like to bang it on the table just a little bit to make sure that all the mixture's firmly set. And then just to finish off this recipe, I like to sprinkle some raw sugar over the top. It gives it a beautiful sweetness and crunch when it comes out of the oven. So we're going to pop this in a 180 degree fan forced oven now. We're going to cook it for about 35 to 45 minutes. It will depend on how big your baking tin is, and we will check it and make sure that it's cooked through, and make sure that it cools completely before you take it out of the tin, because it's quite a delicate cake when it's warm. So this is my beautiful apple vegan cake.